This lesson will be based around the event shot put. Our learning objectives or goals will be to complete a multi-stage program to develop shot put techniques. This is where the event shot put is broken down into different techniques which will allow students to focus on perfecting each step of the shot put at a beginner's pace. Our next learning objective is to use all our newly acquired skills to perform a complete shot put with the step technique. Alternatives such as the stationary or spin techniques are options for students with varied abilities.
This is Jamie, who will be my athlete for this lesson. Jamie participates in netball and karate outside of school, so she has high body awareness and is very athletic.
To correctly hold a shot, the majority of the weight should be placed on the base of the fingers and not in the palm of the hand. The pad of the thumb should be placed underneath the shot, and the pinky should be pointing towards the sky. The shot should be placed on the neck directly below the ear and tucked in under the jawline. The shot cannot be taken away from the neck at any time until it is being released in the put action. Today we're going to look at shot put in 4 different phases. These phases include the preparation phase, the flight phase, the transition phase, and the completion phase. For the purpose of this explanation, I will be referring to this image in terms of the athlete holding the shot in their right hand. If students are left-handed, they will need to complete each step in an opposite manner. In the preparation phase, the athlete should place the outside of their left foot on the back of the stopboard and take 2 large steps towards the back of the circle. This is to gauge how far to step forward later in the flight phase. The athlete should then crouch down, facing the back of the circle, while placing the majority of their weight on their right leg. This is to create a spring-loaded type of energy. In the flight phase, the student raises their left leg and should push off with their right leg, projecting their body towards the front of the circle. In the transition phase, the athlete touches down with their right foot first, quickly followed by their left. The athlete begins to turn their torso towards the front of the circle, raising their left hand and pointing it to the direction of the shot's projection. And finally, in the completion phase, the athlete extends their back leg, driving force through their hip. The athlete then brings their left hand towards their body while simultaneously extending their right hand to propel the shot. For our warm-up, we're going to play a game to prepare our muscles and joints for our activities. First, we're going to play a game of throw step. In pairs, students must stand a metre apart facing one another. Students must then throw a ball to their partner, and each time you catch the ball, you must take a step back. If you drop the ball, you must run around the entire class clockwise and back to your position and start again. The pair with the largest distance between them at the end of the activity wins. This helps to increase students' heart rate and to warm up their muscles and joints for later activities. Now we are going to stretch to create mobility to lessen the risk of injury. First, we are going to stretch and prepare our upper body by bringing our arm across our body and using pressure from our opposite arm to stretch the shoulders and triceps. Then we are going to do some overhead tricep stretches on both arms. And then we are going to perform some arm swings in both directions. Next, we're going to stretch the lower half of the body. First, we are going to stretch the quadriceps by standing on one leg and bringing the opposite foot up to our hips. You can use a partner for balance if needed. Then we're going to stretch the calves by keeping our back foot flat on the ground, taking a step forward and leaning forward. We will do this on both feet. Then we're going to stretch our hamstrings by keeping our legs straight at the knees and bending at the hips and reaching towards our toes with our hands. This helps to loosen up the muscles and create flexibility. Then we're going to grab a partner and do some front to back leg swings. Then some side to side leg swings to create mobility of the hamstrings, quadriceps, hips and groins.
Now we're going to move into a circuit to teach Jamie the different techniques of shot put. At the first circuit, we've got backwards hopscotch. Just like hopscotch, but facing in the opposite direction. At the first square, we're going to bend down and touch our toe, and we're going to do the same at the last square. This activity will help Jamie in the preparation phase and the flight phase of shot put. At the second station, we have a skip and punch activity. Students wear a glove and perform a shot put skip and attempt to punch a ball bouncing on a stick as far as possible. This activity replicates the flight, transition and completion phase of the shot put and allows students to grasp an understanding of where to place their feet with their markers as a guide. At the third station, we have a stationary shot put activity. Here, students can practice the completion phase of shot put. Alrighty, time to stop and swap. Group 1, you're going to Group 2. Group 2, you're going to Group 3. And Group 3, you're going to Group 1.
The first safety consideration included making sure each student was effectively warmed up and prepared for physical activity to lower the risk of injury. The second safety consideration included providing sufficient space between activities to eliminate the risk of students colliding with one another. The third consideration was making sure that I, as the teacher, was placed in a position where I was able to observe each activity and all students. The fourth consideration was to incorporate the stop and swap strategy to avoid students changing activities on their own and potentially walking into students performing activities and potentially into harm's way. First, students are given the chance to perform the activity and then analyse their own performance. As a teacher, I would then intervene when necessary to provide constructive feedback to students and allow students to perform the skill again.
Great work. Now, was that done on your preferred leg or your opposite leg?
My opposite leg.
Cool. Now what I'm going to get you to do is try to do it on your preferred leg. And at the first and last square, I want you to try bend down and touch your toe for me.
Okay.
Much better. Great work. Alrighty, time to stop and swap, everyone. Group 1, you're going to Group 2. Group 2, you're going to Group 3. And Group 3, you're going to Group 1. Great work, Jamie. What I'll get you to do this time is face the back of the circle, use the foot marks as a guide, and when you skip, I want you to twist your torso, like so. Give that a go for me. Much better.
Wait, can I do that again? I don't think I have it close enough to my neck.
Yep, absolutely. Great pick up before, Jamie. That looked a lot better. Now what I'm going to get you to do, instead of having straight, stiff legs, I'll get you to bend down on your back leg and push on as hard as you can. Hopefully that'll get the ball moving a lot further.
Okay.
Much better. Great work. Now that Jamie has completed each activity within the circuit, she now understands how to perform the preparation phase, the flight phase, the transition phase, and the completion phase. Now we're going to try and put them all together and have her attempt a complete shot put. Great work, Jamie. Now what I'm going to get you to try to do is when you're turning your body, I want you to raise your left hand and point to where you want to throw the shot put. Alright? And as you go to throw the shot put, I want you to bring in your left hand, which will help rotate your torso and will help project the ball further. Have another go. Much better. Great work.
Inclusive learning strategies are implemented for students that struggle to perform the step approach shot put and are given the chance to complete the shot put in a stationary standing position. Students that are overperforming are given the chance to learn the spin technique to challenge themselves. Students with learning difficulties are provided with assistance to meet their needs. Students' needs are found in their individual learning programs. For example, Tyler has a hearing impairment and requires a Bluetooth receiver to be attached to the teacher's collar. Dimity has autism and responds best to visual communication, using the got it, thumbs up cards and the not sure, thumbs down cards make communication much easier for Dimity.